This is Tanoa Lynn Poirier, and I want to welcome you to Comm-Unity Conversations on WNN 95.3 FM and 1470 AM. This show is about you. I want to hear your trials and triumphs, challenges now. Welcome to Community Conversations with Tanoa. I am your host, Tanoa Lynn Poirier. Don't adjust your monitors. Yes, I'm a bit of a disco ball. It's the holidays. It's the first day of December. And so for me, the time between Thanksgiving and New Year's is get out your glitter, your shiny lip gloss, and your sequins. So I hope you'll also take the time to just have some fun with your wardrobe during this time of year and enjoy yourself. It's what kind of life is all about. I want to just review the show we played over the last couple of weeks. Thanksgiving week, I was enjoying my family, so I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Mine was perfect. I went to Denver. The weather was amazing. But we played a show where I challenged the listeners for a couple of things. It was Hello Tanoa Challenge 1 and 2. Hello Tanoa Challenge 1 was if you're going to tweet or post on social media and you are tempted to post something that is negative, if you would just follow that up with something positive, or even better, double up on the positive so that we can change the vibe and that we can kind of change the energy of that expectation of social media. It is not all about putting people down and only listening to and agreeing with people with whom you share an interest. Open your minds a little bit and then try to change the energy on those social media. And Tanoa, Hello Tanoa Challenge 2 was giving. So I challenged myself and the listeners too, if you are buying a coffee or you're going to a drive up to get some food, and yes, I eat McDonald's, I'm not ashamed of it. If you are going to go to a drive-through, just pay for the person behind you. Just say, you know what, I got it. Give the attendant an extra few dollars and say, I've got them. Or if you're in a Starbucks, and I'm so excited to tell you this. So my producer, Freddie Santori, told me that he accepted the challenge. And he was in Starbucks. He just said to the person who was taking his money, you know what, whatever he's having, I'm buying. Now, it turned out that he wasn't buying for himself, but that doesn't matter. Freddie took the challenge, and he ended up showing an example to this man and his daughter or granddaughter. And so we now have kind of changed some minds. And I will tell you that when you do it, it feels so good. I know it feels good to him. Members of my family have also accepted the challenge, which is amazing. And when you do this, you just are in line at the grocery store where someone is going to have a little something, you're like, you know what, I got that. Just add theirs to mine. They're going to be so surprised. They're going to ask you why, and you're just going to say, because. Just, I wanted to bless you today. Just pay it forward sometime, and let's just change the dynamic. I know that the news is a little difficult and depressing and disconcerting and disappointing, but you have the power within yourself to change the energy, change the positive vibration, and change the conversation. Just get away from all of the things that make you unhappy in terms of news and radio, etc., and turn on the music again instead of listening to the news. Record some shows instead of listening to the news. Don't marinate in the negativity. I promise you, you'll be happier. So I'll report more on stories at the end of the season, but I just wanted to let you know that a seed has kind of been planted, and let's see if we can germinate it and grow it into something that will help stem the tide of what seems to be kind of a downer lately with the difficult hurricane season we had and issues in the news. I don't want to go into that, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay. So today's show on Community Conversations with Tanoa is holiday decoration and community associations. Now, this is a hot topic because people in communities want the community to reflect them. And if you are just putting up Christmas trees and you have other people in your community who maybe want a menorah to be displayed because this is where they live and they want it to be fair, that is an absolutely reasonable accommodation you should be able to make. I would say the holidays can be fun and festive, but associations have to be careful to make a plan about how this works. So, for example, not putting up holiday decorations until after the Thanksgiving holiday. These kinds of rules need to be written in your document so that everybody has an expectation. So after Thanksgiving and after the New Year's holiday, those decorations have to come down. You can say whether or not they're going to be in the common areas, or are they just isolated to the lobby or just the front door. Are people allowed in condominiums, which is very different than HOAs, and we'll talk about that in a minute. In condominiums, where there's very often a common space that everyone comes into, people who live in that community want to have their faith or their traditions represented. So when you are presented with a complaint or a concern or somebody who feels left out, listen to them. This is not the time to, particularly managers, to allow your personal bias to enter in. It's not your place. It's not where you live. It's not about you. It's never about you. So I would recommend that managers talk to the board, make sure they communicate the letter or the email or the conversation where somebody was disappointed and it really isn't that expensive or difficult to make an accommodation. So very often, and I think this has probably happened in case law, I'm not a lawyer, okay, just putting it out there. But I believe you will see in city centers and at city halls, you'll see a Christmas tree next to a menorah, and that kind of negates it being a specific religious symbol. Now we have to talk about Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is a big holiday tradition that has begun to need to be addressed in the community. I would say if you aren't sure, contact your corporate counsel and have them direct you in drafting rules so that they are fair and that there is not a selective enforcement of how you approach this, particularly in condominiums when people tend to live in very close quarters. In HOAs, which I call horizontal communities, there's a little more latitude. There is usually a public space like a community building, a clubhouse, where you may just say, okay, just the lobby. And then people who live in those homes are able to do probably something. It has to be controlled, I'm sure, but you can also sort of mandate where it starts and where it ends. For example, can you put up a 25-foot blow-up snowman in the front yard? Probably not. But can people put lights around their decorative landscaping? A wreath on the tree? In a community where signs are not permitted, can you allow them to put a hello Santa, please come here kind of decoration? You have to decide before the holiday what you're going to permit, because you're going to kind of lose control of the situation if you don't. So I would say make it festive and fun, but make sure that you are fair and balanced, and that you listen to people when they have a complaint or a concern. Remember that it is their home and they should be allowed to have their faith or their traditions represented. I'm sure you agree. The other thing is during the holidays, it can be difficult. It can be difficult because people have recently lost a loved one, or sometimes it's through death or divorce, or they're empty nesters, and they are maybe a little bit needy and a little bit vulnerable. So listening to those cues, although we're not trained therapists, you know these people well enough because you have worked in their community, serving as their managers, that you can be sensitive to, having them come in and sit with you to make sure, pardon me, to make sure that they're okay. This would be a great time to set up something like it's called the Sunshine Club, the Good Neighbor Club. And here's how it works. is that for people who are away from their families, it's kind of like the Friendsgiving, you know, when people are away from their families at Thanksgiving, they all get together and they have a Friendsgiving. This is helpful during the holiday seasons when people may not be visited as much. They may be a little older and their children and grandchildren live in another state or too far to go away. You can, as a community, start something where you have you assign a member of the club to a certain section or a certain building or a certain floor in the community, and they are going to call those people and make sure they're okay. You're going to invite them to dinner or coffee. You're going to include them with your family or your friends. What a difference that would make, right? So you can call it whatever you want. Sunshine Club, Happiness Club, Friends for Friends Club. I don't know, use your imagination. But I will just say that during this time, it is really important that we remember that some people are having a hard time. It is a difficult time in terms of mental health and stressors, because everyone expects it to be a Norman Rockwell kind of painting, and that's not real life. But there is the expectation that you're going to give, that puts stress on your finances, that you're going to be happy and jolly when sometimes you're not feeling that way, and that you're going to participate in all of the festivities and put a smile on, and that's a lot of pressure for some people. So would you be sensitive? I know the invitations are starting to go out, the decorations are starting to go up, and that is sometimes when the stress starts. I would give you a recommendation in terms of those installations of holiday decor. Consider a professional. If you have been in the past as a community and as a manager and as a board disappointed with kind of the fact that on-site maintenance has done an okay job, but you feel like your community should reflect kind of the, I don't know, elegance of your community, consider putting in the budget a line item that will pay for professional decorating. It really isn't as expensive as you think it is. They tend to get started a little sooner because they have several clients, so they may begin the installation first week of November or middle of November, but you don't have to turn the lights on, but you're going to get a beautiful, professional display, and then you can make those decisions about where to place those interfaith or ecumenical items, and you can just, you know, that's about you and the board. So we are going to take a short break. I'm glad you're listening. Happy Friday. Welcome back from the Thanksgiving holiday. I will see you back after the break in 2. What is on everyone's mind these days when they think of starting a project in their home or community? Where can I find a qualified, certified, and licensed contractor I can trust? Allow me to introduce you to Trusted Construction. They have provided expert construction and roofing services in South Florida since 2009. Trusted Construction has earned a reputation for superior, consistent, dependable service. Trusted Construction will guide you from project conception to completion. Call 561-582-5758. Tell them Tanoa sent you. Hello, listeners. It's Tanoa Lynn from Community Conversations. Did you know I authored a book called 365 Tips for Community Association Managers, Property Managers, and Property Owners? Yep, I did. The book is filled with little, bite-sized morsels that may help anyone working and living in any community. From working with difficult people to building consensus for big projects. There is something in it for everyone. 365 Tips is available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. You can also go online to hellotanoa.com. That's hello, Tanoa.com. Welcome back. This is Tanoa Lynn Poirier with Community Conversations. And I want to remind you that this show is about you. If you'd like to join the show, you can call us at 888-565-1470. Let's get back to the show. Their need for representation in the community depending on their faith or their traditions, and that I encourage managers not to impose your design aesthetic on the community. You should be neutral in whether or not you think whatever their desire is for design is not your issue. It is their desire, and our role is to serve the community. So if you are asked what you think, you may simply say, I think I want to do whatever makes you comfortable and whatever it is you want me to do. It shouldn't be, I don't like that color, that's not right for you, this isn't, it will bite you. And so trust me, this is advice you want to take. Just be there to serve. That really is one of the highest callings of any human, which is why I like this community association management, because I'm able to serve. One of the other things is that you have to make sure in communities that you are not creating an obstacle, trip hazard, or fire hazard, frankly. So make sure if you are sort of self-decorating by direction of the board of directors and or a decorating committee, that they're not loading up the fixtures or the outlets with too many amps, thereby causing a problem, and you're off the property and now you've sort of got a fire issue or something. That you're not obstructing walkways with things hanging that will make people have to duck and maybe step off the path and then injure themselves. Or you just have something obstructed altogether that is very beautiful, but now does not allow the flow of traffic, pedestrian traffic, the way it should. So you kind of have to look at it from kind of a bird's eye view and imagine how people are going to be able to have the same ingress and egress, the same entry and exit that that they're used to. Because one, people don't like change, and two, people will tend to just go the way they've always gone, even though there's an obstruction, and that could be problematic. You want to also talk to your boards when there's a strict rule in the documents about not having anything hanging from windows or in windows, balconies, or patios. So during normal time, we don't want beach towels, or we don't want snow boots, or we don't want coats or laundry or anything like that, because that diminishes the beauty of the community, correct? And that's why those rules are in place. But during the holidays, very often people want to wrap their balconies with garland, put a menorah or a Christmas tree in the window, maybe even putting as I said, if you live in a condo, you want a sign that says something about Santa Claus in the window because you have small children. These kinds of things need to be planned out ahead of time. And if you are in the process of revising your documents, this would be a good time to speak with your corporate counsel, because they can help you draft that language. But you've got to, as much as you can, regulate so that if people tend to go off the deep end. Some people are super excited about the holidays, and some people wear sequins and fancy earrings. And some people, put a lot of effort, and it becomes a contest to who has the best house. So there's got to be in community associations some rules and regulations so that you can say, no, that is really out of bounds, or no, it's okay, you can put a little bit more out. But if you have no rules, how are you going to enforce those aesthetics, right? So I think that would be a good idea. The other issue that I want to make you aware of is when you allow owners to decorate for the holidays, for their religious or traditional holidays, keep in mind that lots of people have lots of different kinds of faiths. And it brings to mind in a community that I managed that the holiday for one of the owners was Halloween. They were Wiccan. That was their holiday, and they went all out when no one else in the community was kind of decorating in this manner. If this happens, do not handle this alone. You must contact corporate counsel, because you cannot selectively enforce. You can't say, well, yes, during the December holidays, you can do all of this, X, Y, and Z, but for Halloween, even though that's your faith, not so much, because we don't like it. it's a sticky wicket. Don't get yourself caught up in that, because by and large the association will lose, because that will be considered selective enforcement. You don't want to get yourself in trouble in that way. Holidays, if it's 4th of July, Veterans Day, Arbor Day, I don't know, you pick whatever you want to celebrate as a community, but just make sure you are consistent in the enforcement and consistent in the rules relative to what you permit, and you're going to keep yourself out of trouble. And this is really good advice for managers, management company owners, and boards of directors. It takes your personal feelings out of it, and much of the friction between owners and boards is that they feel like certain people get certain special treatment, and it's difficult to dispute that when you don't have the rules in place. So trust me on this one. I'm very serious. Now, I'm going to take the last few minutes of the show to issue a new challenge to you listeners. So here it goes. Challenge number 3. You're going to go to, on social media, it's hashtag Hello Tanoa Challenge number 3. And that's on Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook. Hashtag Hello Tanoa Challenge number 3. Challenge number 3 is I want you to just consider how you can give during this season. How you can give of your time if you don't have any money. Give of your smile when you see somebody who may be looking down. Shake someone's hand and introduce yourself and ask them how they're doing, not just the regular, hi, how are you? Just really kind of see them. If you can, donate toys. There are lots of opportunities in Florida. There are Toys for Tots. There are firehouses. There are people within their offices who are going to gather toys and take them to places. One of the biggest needs, I will tell you, is that public schools have a difficult time with low-income students having the correct supplies. And very often, there are a couple of places. There's a place that I am going to give to, and it's called Blessings in a Backpack. And this organization feeds hungry children, because we know empirically that children cannot learn with an empty tummy. But what happens is they get food in their back. They get food every day when they go to work, but on the weekends, and particularly a long weekend or a winter break, they're not going to eat properly for that weekend. So Blessings in a Backpack gives these kids food to take home with them so that they can eat over the weekend. And if this doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. That's going to be my giving. But you may want to consider these low-income folks talking to a principal at a school near you. We all pass them when we're driving around, right? So there's a school near you. If you just want to walk in and speak to the principal and say, my office or my family or my friends, my small group, my organization want to donate supplies. Can you give us a list of what you will need? And I will tell you that this is going to make a huge difference to the students, to the school, to the kind of positive energy that you're going to put forth, but also it's going to help school teachers, and I happen to know this because I have school teachers in my family. They spend their own money buying school supplies for the children in their class because teachers are the most incredible people I know. They help other people's children learn, and they're often the only discipline, and they are wiping their nose, and they're giving them hugs, and they're buying supplies with their own money. These are just a few examples of what is possible if you just open your mind and your heart and think about, particularly during this season, what you can do to help someone else. And I am not naive enough to think that we're going to change the world in a day, but you will change someone's day, hour, minute, and help them think about, I matter to somebody I don't know, or somebody thinks enough about me or my school to make sure that I have what I need to study. Wouldn't that be amazing? So for me, it's Blessings in a Backpack. I'm going to report to you how that works. It's a great organization. Look it up. If you want to donate to a school, just offer a smile, offer your time. If you are well educated, think about becoming a tutor. You know, if you have 1 weeknight a week, you know, you could help somebody. So I just want to throw that out there. Remember, this is challenge number 3. It's hashtag Hello Tanoa challenge number 3. And I hope to hear back from you. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend. I'll see you back here next week. And I believe my guest is going to be Brian Lynott, and we're going to talk about fraud. Especially during the holidays, it's going to be important. Thanks for listening. Be a blessing to somebody today. I'll see you here next week. Bye.
You have been listening to Community Conversations with Tanoa Lynn Poirier. It is my honor to host this program, and I appreciate you listening. We have an exciting show planned for you next week, so mark your calendars and join me every Friday at 5 p.m. on WNN 95.3 FM and 1470 AM. We look